We're back, and today we're talking about Sora 2, the AI that's literally driving the anime community absolutely crazy because everybody's doing their own fan-made versus battle, and they're using this AI to essentially create fan animation. And of course, every time AI is involved, well, you got people screaming that it's the end of the world, you got people supporting it, people hating on it, and like always, let's go ahead and talk about it. And just to get an idea of what exactly I'm talking about here, let's actually go ahead and take a look and see what are people doing, right? Like here we got the classic Goku versus Saitama. Again, it's fan-made animation, but you can kind of get into the whole details. You know, Sora 2 right there. You can get into the details, all right? Like, obviously, it's a stealing work, copyright infringement, all that good stuff. Here's another example, creating Akaza versus Sasuke. Again, a lot of the versus battle power scaler people are using this, right? Now, whether it looks good or not, I don't think that's the discussion here, because a lot of people just like to automatically say that it's slop, that it's trash. I mean, we even got some Pokemon here, so you know they're getting sued into another dimension. One Piece, Chainsaw Man, Dragon Ball. It doesn't matter, right? The point is that a lot of animes are being used to create this whole, fan-made animation of whatever the prompt has to be to get the final result. And because it's AI, you already know that there's a lot of people hating on it, calling it slop, the worst thing ever. And of course, there's the other people that support it and don't really have an issue with it. And look, if you were to ask me, I don't have an issue with it, right? The only issue that I have with this AI stuff is the whole copyright stuff, right? Because some people could definitely use this and, make money out of it, while the real artists that created all these characters, they're kind of left in the dust, right? I don't think that is correct. I don't think that's the right way to do this. So in terms of the laws and stuff like that, I feel like that definitely needs to be protected. I don't know if it's like the people who make the AI needs to be held responsible in some way, sure, because it needs to recognize what is copyright infringement and what is not, but also the people generating this stuff, because they do know it's copyright, right? Now, of course, there's always the other argument of whether this is art or not, right? And look, I'm gonna leave that up to you, right? I mean, even Brandon Sanderson, an author that I absolutely love, he kind of put it in a good way, right? Like, the person that's creating this, they're not really creating art, right? They might be like a director, right? They're putting in the prompt to generate what they want to see, but they're not really creating the art. And I get that point. Again, we humans, we see a banana strapped to a wall and we call that art. So I really don't care about your interpretations of the whole art thing, right? What I really do care about is what this tool can do for artists, because I just can't imagine that artists are looking at this, right? The ones that don't like AI, and they're calling it slop, that there's no use for it, it's the worst thing to ever happen. And to some extent, I get why they're worried, because they're worried that AI is going to take over their jobs. And my question to that is, right? Like, imagine people at Pixar, right? They literally are on record saying that they made the movie Elemental thanks to AI. Right? Why didn't they lose their jobs then, right? We have Toei Animation also on the record saying that they were going to start implementing AI into their workflow, right? Again, people are not going to be losing their jobs over this, because who do you think will be using the tool? Larry from accounting? You think they're just gonna fire all the animators, all the people that have the knowledge, the artistic art style, where the colors are supposed to go, how they're supposed to match, color theory, anatomy, the people that know all this stuff, they're gonna fire all those people and bring in some random people that have no idea about any of this, and they're just gonna tell them, just put a prompt in and it's gonna give you what you want. No, it doesn't work like that, right? At the end of the day, AI is going to be a tool that artists can use to enhance their work, improve their work life, especially in an industry where in Japan, we know that they're struggling to keep up, right? Because they don't have enough animators, right? It's time consuming to make this anime, and AI can alleviate that. And I honestly don't see how people see that as a bad thing. Now, a lot of people argue that generative AI, right, the ones that are spitting out, when you put in Goku versus Saitama and it's spitting out that fan animation, they have a problem with that because they're considering that as stealing work. And if you want to use that argument, stealing is stealing, whether it's a machine or another human being is stealing at the end of the day. It doesn't matter who does it. They're both stealing, right? Like, what is the difference between a human creating a fan animation of Saitama versus Goku and AI doing it? Can you tell me the difference? And please don't tell me it's the soul, because the human created it, so it has soul. That is a 10-year-old argument, right? Because at the end of the day, guess what? They're both gonna get hit with copyright infringement, right? They're both gonna be taken down. I mean, just look at the whole Berserk fan animation, right? Like, they released a trailer. It looks really cool. I loved it. I wish we would get like a legitimate Berserk remake. And, some fans took it upon themselves to do that, and they got hit with copyright infringement. Because at the end of the day, whether it's a machine or a human, it's stealing, right? So if that is your argument, I get it, but you should also be going after the people that are legit stealing this stuff, right? Like, I mean, just look at the whole anime piracy issue, right? Like, I consider that a bigger problem than what AI is doing with fan-made animation, right? Because at the end of the day, they're not stealing the whole official episode and putting it up somewhere for free where people are legit consuming it and stealing it, while the studio and animators are legit hurting and losing out on that revenue, right? But that's, again, anime piracy is a whole giant of a discussion, and it's absolutely insane, right? So I definitely do not think that AI is going to be stealing people's jobs, because at the end of the day, artists are going to be using the AI, right? We have seen plenty. I mean, Pixar, Toei Animation. I'm sure if I actually do a little bit more research into this, I will find hundreds and hundreds of companies that are using AI to make life better. And it's funny because if you go back 20 years in the past, you would see that artists were having the exact same argument about digital art, which, again, in 2025, it seems absolutely absurd that people were arguing this. But they were, which, again, it just kind of shows that when new technology gets introduced, some people, they really don't want to change. They don't want to learn new stuff. And they really just hate it for the sake of hating it without actually trying to sit down and understand it. Because, again, if I was like a legit artist, like if I was doing my own manga, I would honestly look into this tool to maybe transform my own manga into an anime, right? I would really put in the work to do this, because if it's my work, I really want to see my stuff the way I want to see it, right? But some people don't want to do that, and it's in their right. They don't have to use the tool. But to try to just take it away from everybody else, it's just absolutely bad. And look, at the end of the day, when it comes to AI and all this crazy stuff, I 100% believe that we do need to see some sort of laws to protect the intellectual property of all these different characters. 100% agree there, right? But at the end of the day, 99.99% of the people don't really care about this topic enough to do some sort of action against it, right? As long as they get their Goku versus Saitama, or Akaza versus Sasuke, or Naruto versus Luffy, as long as they get their fan-made stuff, they will not care. They will use it. And when the consumer is, the market for that consumer is so big, they're going to give people that product. And if they use it and there's no repercussions to using it, it's going to be used the way it is, right? And I'm not even getting into the whole not safe for work stuff, because I'm pretty sure some people are going to be creating some nasty stuff. So again, I definitely do feel when it comes to AI, we definitely need, some laws, some sort of control, some sort of stuff in there, because as of right now, the way it is, it's getting a little wild and, out of hand real quick. But I definitely am a supporter of AI in order to improve animators' workflow and work of life, because, again, they're struggling over there in Japan, okay? They're struggling. They need help, and this could definitely give them help. Now, the other thing, right? Because of AI, a lot of animators lose their job, because now one animator can do the job of like 10 animators, right? Using AI. I definitely do feel like that's a bad thing as well, because now you're just trying to do all of this for profits, right? And at that point, it's the company, right? And that's definitely an avenue that I would not support. But to just argue that all animators are going to be out of a job and now the whole art thing is just going to be a hobby and not an actual career path, that's really absurd, okay? That's really crazy. There's no evidence to support that. People are just fear-mongering. But let me know what you think about the whole AI situation. Do you support it? Do you hate it? Are you liking the whole versus battle thing, fan-made animation that's happening with Sora 2? Let me know what you think. And like always, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode, which is gonna be Monday because I'm gonna be reacting to my status as an assassin obviously exceeds the heroes. And we'll see how that anime goes, right? Because I will say the fall 2025 anime season is weak, but 2026 is gonna be wild. But that's a whole other video. But yeah, let me know what you think. And like always, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode. Peace out. Boom.